2 days to go. The Party Poker Mosconi Cup is oh so close, and we're here with our off-the-rail preview. Hello and welcome to the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino Convention Centre, where the stage is currently being built. It will be set for this year's Party Poker Mosconi Cup. We're very, very excited, and we've got a big show for you today. We've got Jayson Shaw and something special from the face-off. If you've not seen it yet, that is well worth staying tuned in for. Karl Boyes is alongside me. Karl, it's that time of year again. Everyone's excited. It's the big one. Yeah,
it's the big one. You know, it's if you're a pool fan or a pool player, you know, the Mosconi Cup is the pinnacle of our sport, and you know, it's such a great event. Short races, you get to see all 10 guys battle it out, and that rivalry, it's a special event, that's for sure.
We've been talking a lot this week. There's been a lot of build-up, but now we're getting down to it. Europe and USA. It looks like being the closest Mosconi Cup we've had for years.
Yeah, I mean, day after day I keep changing my mind. Now I've gone back to Europe. Tomorrow will I go back to America? But I think you're right. I think it's, you know, just it's 50-50 really, even though I would stick my neck out on the line and say Europe, but it's 12 all overall. There's been one draw, and like you say, is this going to be the greatest of them all?
I want to speak to you a little bit about the warm-up matches. Last year, USA played England. You were a part of that team. This year, you captained Team CSI, so you've seen them the week before the Mosconi Cup both years. Is there a difference? Can you read anything from those matches?
I think the key factor, if I'm being honest with both of them matches, is both teams who played America weren't sharp. Europe are going to be sharp. You know, 3 of the guys have qualified off their own right. 2 wild cards, obviously Jayson and Neil's, you know, top players, play all year round. So I don't think you can read too much into the warm-up matches. Other than that, it's just good practice for America. You can't really go off the result because the teams they were playing just weren't sharp, do you know what I mean?
And in terms of form, Europe are right up there with anybody in the world. Kazakis and Kachi have qualified on the rankings, as has Josh Filler, because he's won just about every major tournament this year. And then the wildcards, Jayson Shaw, perhaps not had his best tournament year so far, but after getting the wildcard, goes and wins the International Open, so everybody's in form.
Yeah, just to go back to Jayson there, he's, you know, every matchroom event he's played in, he's played, you know, really good pool, but he's just ran into a couple of bad losses where he's not done much, so he's looked sharp all year, even though results might not say that. And then, of course, he snaps off the International Open and he gets his wild card. But even if he hadn't won that tournament, Marcus would have picked him because, without doubt, he's one of the top 5 Europeans. You know, so he has to be on the team, and he loves this event. He wants to walk down them stairs, get to the table, and he's just one of them players, a bit like Filler, where they don't really miss easy balls. Everyone else kind of, you expect them to throw a little miss in now and again, but Jayson and Filler, they don't miss them easy balls.
Well, Karl, we sent you to catch up with Jayson Shaw here at the Mandalay Bay earlier today.
So we're here with Jayson Shaw, Team Europe. Jayson, we're in the actual arena and the build's just about to take shape. Are you very excited to get the event underway?
Yeah, obviously. We've all been together for the last week, so it's starting to feel like we're getting closer to the crunch time.
Yeah, the butterflies are starting and you just want to walk down them famous steps, don't you?
Yeah, do you know what, actually, I'm not actually feeling that yet. I think another couple of days we'll start to feel it. I feel like now we're just kind of a few days away, we can relax today, but then tomorrow and the next day it's kind of, it's getting closer to it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we go back a long way, and I know you're the type of player where, you know, you thrive on this type of event. You just want to get in the arena, play. Last year you were very animated. Are you going to be exactly the same this year? Are you going to change it up a bit, tone it down, or are you just going to be the exact same?
No, I'm coming in I mean business this time. I ain't doing anything crazy. I might have a couple little celebrations.
Yeah, but because like I thought against Skylar last year, when you missed that one ball, I thought because you were so pumped up, maybe that didn't help you. So if you toned it down a bit, and obviously maybe you get the win, then you just go ballistic and stand in the king's chair, as Tyler said.
Yeah, I think it was more to do with not just myself in that match. I was kind of getting involved a little bit with the crowd, which kind of maybe threw me off my rhythm a little bit. But, you know, it's totally different playing in London to playing in the States, you know, because everybody's kind of like, it's double the crowd and everybody's on you, you know, so it's kind of different.
Yeah, and like you said, we don't play in a big crowd like this very often. When you do, it's hard not to get involved in the crowd, isn't it?
Yeah, like the atmosphere is just incredible, so it's kind of, I like to let a little bit out. I'd rather not stay there and keep it all bottled up, you know what I mean? Then when I get to the table, I'm like kind of not nervous, but kind of adrenaline's getting the better of you. So I try and just kind of let the adrenaline out. You know, when it comes around in the moment, who knows, I might do crazy things, we'll see.
What about the team this year? Obviously, it's near enough the same team. There's no Albin, but you've got Joshua Filler. Obviously, we all know the form he's in. Are you confident with your team? Are you happy with the swap, or any inside info?
Well, before I even got picked, the top 3 players that were in was Joshua, Clenty, and then Alex got in. And then I was the next one picked, and when I was picked, I kind of had a look at the team and I thought to myself, I'm happy with it. Not that I wasn't happy last year, but I just felt last year it was because we had 2 guys that had never been there, and there was a lot of things going on in the team that kind of probably threw us off our game as far as like getting the team correctly, putting the right selections out there and stuff like that. But this year I feel like they've been in the team. They know what to expect. Yeah. They've been playing good all year. They've won good tournaments. They've deserved to get their spot. So I was happy with the first 3. And then Neil's is just, he's solid. So our team's playing well. We've all done well all year. We've played big tournaments. We've all finished high or won a tournament. So I feel really confident with this team. Obviously, they got a good team too. So it's going to be tough, but I'm happy with my team.
Yeah, I just want to touch on something. Obviously, you're from Scotland. We're both from Great Britain. That's where I've known you from, English pool and IPT days. Do you think you would have been the same player if you still lived in Scotland, or do you think moving to America helped you get to the level you're at now?
Yeah, to be honest with you, back in the day when we spoke about this, I think going to America was the best thing because I got more opportunities. And I got to play in more tournaments, and I ended up getting a couple of sponsors from that. As where in England you have a couple of tournaments maybe every month and a half or something, a Euro Tour or a GB9, so it's hard to make money and make a living. So I felt like coming to the States kind of opened up a new door for me and gave me more opportunities. So it definitely benefited me.
Yeah, you're not tempted with a bit of English 8-ball or that type of stuff.
That was the problem. English 8-ball or playing 9-ball when it was back and forward, you can't do it. You got to do one. So I'm happy that I did make the move because I made a better life for myself and I made a better career for myself too.
Do you think you are the best player in the world? Answer honestly. Do you think you're the best player in the world?
In my mind, yeah.
Forget results, because I think you've been a bit unlucky this season, to be honest, because I think in the matchroom events you've played unbelievable, but like US Open, obviously Filler played unbelievable, World Pool Masters, Ekachi played unbelievable and had a bit of luck.
World 10-ball.
World 10-ball.
Played amazing.
I thought you played great with Mellin. Obviously you didn't manage to, go real deep in that. So I think you've played, and then obviously the International Open, you've snapped that off. So do you think you are the best player in the world?
Yeah, in my mind I do, but there's obviously a lot of other players that think there's other players that are... There's a bunch of players that are the top players in the world, you know what I mean? But if I play my game and the way I go into tournaments with my right mindset, I know there's not a lot of people that can beat me, so...
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You'd have been first name on my sheet if I was captain for a wild card anyway, but one last question before we leave. If you could pick one player in Europe to play in the team and take one player out, who would it be?
Oof.
Anybody in Europe?
Anybody in Europe? That's a tough question. I can't answer that.
No,
I can't answer it because there's so many good players that could get. You could build.
Yeah,
like
if you was captain,
teams.
if you had a wild
If
card,
I was captain,
who would you take out and who would you put in from Europe?
I'd probably say I would either take Clenty or Alex out, and maybe replace it with Albin or Mario He.
What about me?
Yeah, but
no, I'm just joking.
I think Mario He.
Yeah, I agree. Mario, Albin.
Albin. There's a few that could get in there and potentially do it. Like I said, there's probably 2 or 3 teams that you could put together and you could say, wow, that's a team that could beat USA, or you know what I mean, or beat an Asian team or whatever. But there's too many players in Europe to kind of just pick one, or you would have to pick a couple. It's kind of hard to just say one player.
Yeah. Right. Just before we go, prediction. What score?
11-7 Europe.
11-7. Jayson Shaw, everybody.
Karl, that was a little bit of a naughty question at the end there for Jayson, wasn't it?
Yeah, I stitched him up a little bit, I won't lie. I knew he'd kind of like bite at that one.
I'm not sure he'll be doing any more interviews with you anytime soon. I think it'll be Jake and myself doing those for the rest of the week. But seriously, Jayson is kind of made for this event, isn't he? They kind of go hand in hand, Jayson and the Mosconi Cup.
Yeah, he just loves it. He walks out there, chest pumped, such a fearless potter. I know I keep going on about that, and you can tell when he's at the table and he's got that pot, you just don't think he's going to miss it. He's just although last year against Schuyler, he did miss a one ball at 4-4, and it was a crucial point. So I know we keep, building him up, but does he have to just tone it down a little bit because he's very pumped, and maybe you should do that after you've won the point and all that. And he said in the interview, didn't he? No, he's going to keep doing what he does, which is fair enough. But I'm not so sure. I just think you should tone it down that little bit more. Still, dance around and do what you've got to do, but get the point. That's the main thing.
So looking ahead to day one of the Mosconi Cup, always a huge, huge day. It's been many, many years since a team didn't win day one and then went on to win the Mosconi Cup. Why do you think it is so important?
I just think it's momentum, and I think the guys who are coming out, if you come out and you're 3-2 down, there's obviously more pressure because you're thinking, I don't want to lose, it'll be 4-2. If you're 3-2 up, you're going on and you're thinking, you're almost relaxed thinking, well, if I lose, we're still drawing as daft as it sounds. And I just think the short races, there's so much pressure, and I just think them little swings and roundabouts in team events, that's what it's all about.
There's going to be a lot of thinking for the captains to do, making those selections. I want to get your thoughts on what you do for both teams and what you expect as well. So we open with the team match. It's then doubles, singles, doubles, and we end with singles again. What do you think we'll see, and what would you go with, first of all, for Europe?
Obviously, you've put me on the spot there without thinking too clearly about the doubles, but for me, I'd go Jayson and Phil, the first two singles. I'd just make a statement, without a doubt. So
you want to go strong if you're Europe on day one, you're putting your eggs in the basket of winning day one and making USA on the back foot from the off.
Yeah, just because the stats are there. Whoever's led day one, wins the cup. I mean, 3-2 is not a huge lead, don't get me wrong, but it'd be nice to go to sleep on day one with a 3-2 lead. And I just think, America have got Shane. He's the big player for America who's won the big majors. No one else in the team has really. No one's won a world title or a US Open other than just Shane. He's like, Mr. Poole from America who's played all over the world and won the tournaments. So if you go with like Phil and then Jayson, or Jayson and Phil, whichever way, look at the tournaments they've won. They are like in the top 8 players of the world with Shane.
On the American side, they started with Tyler Steyer in the first singles last year and then Shane Van Bonen to close out the night. Do you expect the same this year?
Yeah, possibly, but even though Tyler beat Niels last year, he did have a little bit of luck, didn't he? Niels weren't quite at the races. I think Tyler had a couple of really nice flukes, so it weren't like he come out and played unbelievable. I think people were getting a bit carried away, to be honest. And in the team match we've just played, I thought he played pretty poor, to be honest. He didn't look sharp. Shane looked really sharp, to be fair. It was a 4-inch table, and usually Shane's not a fan of the tight pocket, but he must have been practicing on a tight table somewhere because he played unbelievable in that team match. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Bergman or Schuyler and then Shane. That's what I'd be looking to do.
Well, plenty for the captains to think about, and if you've not seen this yet, check out Face Off on our social medias, because if there wasn't enough for them to think about already, I think they've certainly got inside each other's heads. Let's take a look at this clip.
When Johan added Justin Bergman to the team, was you a little bit upset with that decision? Did you think like that was a smart move? Obviously, you know how good Bergman is.
Who is Bergman? I have no clue who it is. I never seen him play.
Because you don't pay attention.
Yeah, I pay attention the whole
No,
time. I seen Bergman many times. I played.
You don't even pay attention to your own players.
Yeah.
I was there at the youth tour. Everybody fighting. You're out. Didn't see you show up or the other matches.
No, I watched every game on my phone. I don't want to sit next to. So.
Making them nervous? Are you a captain that makes players nervous?
No, I don't want to make them nervous when they're playing for a spot. It's up to them. I know their abilities. I know all the players.
I hope so.
Bergman, I know inside and out. I seen him play 3 years ago in the Mosconi Cup 2015, for example. I know what he's got.
Karl, having obviously been in the middle of those two for that one, it was a little bit spicy, and probably fair to say Johan won that.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly say it's USA 1, Europe 0 after that, but we've got the press conference on Sunday, and I do think Marcus is going to come out all guns blazing for that, because he probably wasn't expecting Johan to be like, I wasn't expecting it, to be fair. I just thought it was going to be a bit tongue-in-cheek, but he sort of really went in and he was having digs about he's not watched his plays at the Euro Tour and all this, and Marcus was like that. I mean, at one point I just wanted to burst out laughing, but I thought this has got real serious. This, you know what I mean? He was bang up for it, Johan.
And of course, at the press conference tomorrow, Marcus will come back hopefully with some answers, but he'll have Team Europe behind him, and people like Jayson Shaw, you imagine, might want to get stuck in as well.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's, you know, it's a bit of banter as well, but it's just nice to get the needle stuck in. That's what team events are about.
Absolutely. Well, as you say, we do have our press conference tomorrow live from the Mandalay Bay on our Mosconi Cup social media pages. Do join us for that. We'll also be revealing the lineups for day one at that press conference, so you won't want to miss it.